Welcome to Doom Scroll Patrol, the news roundup show where we doom scroll so you don't have to. Today, we are talking about big balls getting punched. We're talking about the National Guard entering into Washington, D.C. We're going to talk about the genocide in Gaza, as we are wont to do, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I think it's going to be a good show. My name is Aaron Hagee McKay.
I'm Harold Moss.
I'm Hannah Snape.
And I'm Sam Perez.
Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Well, a lot has happened. I guess to start here, did Trump take over Washington D.C. yet? Is that still?
It's. I mean, technically, the part of the problem is that Washington D.C. is under federal purview as a baseline. Yeah. And
right, if there were any justice in the world, it would be like a state.
It would be a state
sort of
and
city. Have some better it would have some sort of like better legal standing.
Right, but it doesn't have the legal standing. So what he's doing, he's allowed to do, which is to take over the police department. And of course, the police department is welcoming it because it's a police department. So it's full of a lot of racists and Nazis who want to bang heads. And that's what Trump always says. The governing bodies in D.C. are kind of helpless, right? They can say it's all a stunt because violent crime's been going down. And you look at first of all, I think we have to say, living in the most absurd timeline, what was the spark for this? Our Reichstag fire, which was, for folks who don't know, in Germany under Hitler, there was a fire in the parliament, and they used that as an excuse to go and really institute the full authoritarianism of the Nazi regime. Our version, since, history repeats itself, first is tragedy and then in farce, is that a guy named Big Balls probably had a staged carjacking at 3 a.m. Big Balls being one of the Doge 20-something morons who worked under Musk, happened to get carjacked by apparently 15-year-olds, which I don't know if this was part of the official report. I know some right-wing people were saying that they came out and shouted, "This is Kamala Harris territory."
No one has ever said that.
I don't know if that was his official. No one's ever said that. No one's ever
said
and
that.
certainly not 15-year-olds at 3 a.m.
Even hardcore Democrats would never say that. No.
15-year-olds don't give a shit about Kamala Harris.
I don't know if that was the official report, but that was them trying to gin it up. So who knows what actually happened.
So
the guy's definitely punchable.
It's like that.
You should get an award to whoever might actually punch him.
We need to have a moment and just. I think you're being really unfair to the heroic actions of Big Balls / Edward Corriston. So yeah, he's 19 years old.
Oh, he's not
19.
Even 20.
He's 19. And he's a former Doge employee. And yeah, he goes by the online handle Big Balls. He kind of went to fame. But yeah, I think that he was apparently left pretty bloody, though, if it was real blood or whatever, who knows? I don't know, man. You're right. He does have a punchable face, but we should say that we never condone violence. We certainly don't want to ever punch
Aaron
Nazis.
Says that he does not condone violence. I think we can all agree that
here.
Aaron doesn't condone violence.
Yes. We don't want to attack Big Balls.
Well, I don't know about this
his face.
but Aaron doesn't want to attack Big Balls.
So what is the point of him being beat up?
But then they
used the justification to crack down on.
So now they flooded 0 crime areas of DC, literally the National Mall with National Guard, FBI, ICE, all these things there. So they just flooded 0 crime areas of the city for a public display, and of course they're just harassing young black men. So they're just harassing, and it's obviously completely for show. And the violent crime rate is the lowest in, I think, 30 years because it's really gone down.
Yeah, in the last 15 years, just looking at the crime stats, it's just been on a downward trend. It's less than half what it used to be 15 years ago.
And Trump is looking at any city that has a black Democratic mayor and saying they need to be taken over. I mean, there's no subtlety to it. Baltimore also has had a tremendous success in lowering the crime rate. Still a long way to go. Why? Because the mayor, who's young, I think he's 40 or early 40s at this point, came in and worked with community groups, worked with the police, worked with trying to find the social roots of crime and
basically
resolve
he
it.
like invested in kids.
Yeah.
Like is what he did. Invested in the youth.
You're telling me that having Hamsterdam and all of that in The Wire didn't work?
Right. And I mean, I've actually met some of the groups that do the work down in Baltimore because I did a thing with a doc on the Hobson School of Health and their crime reduction. And, you know, a lot of it is you get community-based groups who know people. And when there's a beef or something that could blow up into violence, you get the community, families, people to intervene. That's a big part of it. You make sure that there's things for kids to do. All the stuff we know that works. The one thing we do know that does not work, hiring more cops. Does not work, does not prevent crime, just a complete fallacy. We can talk about whether we need no police, what we ever do, but hiring more cops, no impact on crime except for maybe to make it worse because a lot of the cops are criminals. However, investing in kids, investing in community outreach, investing in these things actually works. You can lower crime. They have no interest in lowering crime. That's not the function.
Well,
especially when like fucking Pete Hegseth and Trump, who are accused rapists, are standing right there, being like, my best friend is Jeffrey Epstein. Hi, crime is out of control here.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy because like they did this huge crackdown because this idiot Big Balls got allegedly attacked, but like, wasn't it like 2 months ago that dude killed like 2 Democratic senators or something?
Oh yeah,
and
nothing.
Like no one gives a shit.
DOJ did nothing about it. And then there's then there's down in North Carolina where the anti-vaccine lunatic, inspired by RFK Jr., who will, boy, I don't know, is Musk going to have a bigger body count from the millions of people who will die of AIDS because of cutting off and the famine, or will RFK Jr. from undermining global vaccine response rates and capabilities? It's going to be how many millions do they each have on their hands? He inspired this guy. He went and shot, and again, nothing from the federal government.
Yeah, I don't know what the ratio is there, but there's sort of like a which one of them is going to indirectly kill more people is a big question that historians will have to wrestle with by just having to cut off resources from people who are
because
vulnerable.
RFK Jr. just cut $500 million trying to end $500 million into research into mRNA vaccines, which are incredibly effective.
Didn't he also cut cancer funding a bunch too?
Well, that's part of what the mRNA, they are coming up with vaccines that could treat cancer. The one of the most effective one is the HPV vaccine, which is already deployed and is in some countries actually eliminating, where they're actually using it the most, eliminating cervical cancer. I think Michael
Douglas said that he got throat cancer from having so much cunnilingus.
Well, but that's the threat to.
He's just like, I got throat cancer from the HPV from eating too much fucking pussy.
Yeah, that is
because I'm Michael Douglas, and then women are just like, "Can you eat my pussy?" I'm like, "Yes, I can." I'm going 20,000 leagues below the sea. Oh no, that was his dad. What's another Michael Douglas?
Well, he's wolfing it down on Wall Street. I would say.
No, he's not. He's just Wall Street. No,
Wall Street. I messed it up.
He's just Wall Street.
I fumbled it. That's why. That's why I have no throat cancer because I can't even.
Oh, yeah, he's shrinking down like Ant-Man.
Whenever cops sit on somebody's head, like a black man's head, and he like suffocates or whatever, they're always like, "Oh, he deserved it" or whatever. What are you doing out at 3 a.m. in your car or whatever? Are you asking to be? I feel like there's a whole
story. What was going on? Yeah,
what is going on here? But that's a surprisingly absent narrative along this. But I think we can all agree that his survival of the attack was extraordinarily heroic. And that's why fucking, what's his name, at the White House press briefing, decided that I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I think he said, Yeah, he's some MAGA shithead commentator. I gotta look it up. I probably should have written down his name when I was putting in my notes. But yeah, maybe we play the clip. But yeah, given the heroic actions of a member of this administration just blocks from this building, will the president consider giving the Medal of Freedom to Big Balls?
Benny Johnson's also calling for ethnically cleansing Washington, D.C. because there's too many black people there. Basically saying we should take
aren't you
neighborhoods.
so glad you're in America right now?
Yep. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I feel fine.
But this is a test case for going and taking over basically racist occupations.
Well, and like they were saying that, like, we're gonna bulldoze areas of DC, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, what is it? The Imperial Boomerang is coming right back because it's like we're doing this all in Palestine.
Well, I mean that's what Ben Johnson was basically saying. They should Gaza DC. They should Gaza the black neighborhoods of DC, and that's what I not the one who first came up with this observation, but that's why I keep saying Gaza is training us to accept the elimination of inconvenient populations. That's one of the functions of Gaza, is that you just either accept that it's necessary or you just feel helpless in the face of it, which is why it's so important we keep talking about Gaza, because they'd like to Gaza a lot of us.
Yep.
It does seem like the whole, like, there's a discourse on like whether or not it's a genocide now, and it's becoming, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out why it's become like, why now? Why is this now sort of cresting in the discourse? And I don't know. I'm not smart enough to analyze this in any sort of coherent way, but I find it interesting how the discourse is now moving in that direction, and I don't know if it's like a moral permissibility thing, like they see other people are no longer getting flack for it, and so they feel like they can stand up for it now. I'm curious to know.
I think that's part of it. More people, like, it's kind of like it's tipping, because like I remember in the beginning,
it's a social tipping point. Yeah,
there's a lot of that. I think one of the things I was thinking about, because there is like this, it's almost like starvation is like where a lot of people are now reaching their limit, because it's like in America, it's like bombing people is fine. We're used to that. We see it all the time. But then when you start seeing kids starving, it's almost like there's no reason.
Right.
Like, that's not like a military, like, at least, and this is like a generalization of the American mind, is like starvation is not like a military tactic, because we're like, no, we love bombs and guns and Navy SEALs, and
there's
it's like
a plausible military say, like, well, we were trying to get these people by bombing them, collateral damage.
Yeah,
right.
But then when you see kids starving, it's like, oh, that's because I think too, growing up, there's all those things of like, we know what starving kids look like, because there was all those like campaigns in Africa, like back in the 80s and 90s. So a lot of younger, like older people have that in their minds. So when they see these kids starving, I think it like recalls that, and they're like, oh, starving's like bad, and we have to help starving kids. That's like my pet hypothesis, is like, once we see the starving kids, that's like when it's starting to change. And that's kind of like when a lot more of the mass change has started, is once we're like hitting the level 5 starvation, and like we're seeing all these images of just like, emaciated babies and kids. It's almost like now we're like, oh, this is bad now. We have to stop it. So
I mean, of course,
that's like,
before it was just every hospital bombed, every university bombed, every tent. But I think you're right. That's one of the things. But I also think it's just been building. I mean, this is also, I think it's testament to the organizing that's been going on for the last 2 years, that the social tipping point is just, I think you're right. This is kind of an but there's also the public, I think Zionism is being undermined as a long-term project. Yay.
I mean, you can thank Benjamin Netanyahu for that.
Yeah.
He's the most anti-Semitic person ever, if we're really thinking about it, like in terms of, or at least anti-Zionist, by just undercutting everything that he says he hopes for.
And you've definitely seen a complete flip here in the United States, the core armor of Israel and supporter of Israel, where I do not think, I think that the next Democratic nominee for president is going to break from AIPAC. I think that's there's been a complete flip in support of Israel within the Democratic Party. And that's from the organizing and the HAR, right? And that's a huge transformation, because you look at the entire leadership of the Democratic Party, and they're owned by AIPAC. They're owned by AIPAC. And they don't even have to be owned by AIPAC, because they're owned by the imperial project, which is Zionism in the Middle East. They're genuinely bonded to the idea of having an army that will do anything. That there's no HAR too great. Arm apartheid South Africa with nukes, awesome. Train death squads in Central and South America, fantastic. Invade, bomb whomever you want in the Middle East on whim. They don't really do it on command. They do it more on whim. Sure. So there's so much entrenchment amongst the Democratic leadership and, of course, the Republican leadership. I think that's flipping. And it's going to starting to. You saw Pete Buttigieg come out and give effing word salad, inability to take a position on anything, and he's just getting hammered for it, because there's actually a need for moral clarity now amongst the Democratic base. Doesn't do much good if you're in Gaza right now.
Yeah.
It feels like they're
I
gonna.
did see. Yeah, I saw. I think a week or two ago. I haven't been online at all, because I've been traveling and things. But I did see that Canada dropped a bunch of aid, the parachute.
Yeah, which is meaningless.
Things.
No
Which
offense.
it's nothing, but they did something
it's the least
publicly.
Everybody who deals with famine relief is airdropping is for very specific things and is totally inadequate to it. So there's a lot of performative stuff. Germany said that they were going to stop shipping offensive weapons after the current ones are already shipped. Offensive weapons that could be used in Gaza, and that's going to be another 18 months of shipments already in the pipeline. So you're starting to see people thinking about Nuremberg trials around this, trying to cover their ass, but not actually do anything. And that's what you're seeing in Canada. That's what you're seeing in Germany. You're seeing that in UK, they were saying they will recognize, if Israel continues the genocide without pausing even a little bit, they will recognize a theoretical Palestinian state, which is if the state is right.
It's very
it's like if you kill everybody, then we'll recognize a theoretical, and it's a two-state solution, which is effing meaningless. There should be no apartheid states anywhere in the world.
I'm just hoping the performative stuff eventually evolves into something that actually does something.
Well, Labour government in UK is collapsed. And Jeremy Corbyn, who they drummed out completely undemocratically, has a new party that is polling better. And Corbyn is actually principled, decades-long anti-Zionist, pro-Palestinian. So I think that we are seeing, and it's possible that he could be the prime minister, because nobody likes Keir Starmer. Just nobody. So I do think that the performative stuff is politicians trying to get out ahead of what is clearly and increasingly becoming recognized as a genocide ongoing, and trying to protect themselves and their flanks and not go to jail at some point. But they're not going to lead the way. They're going to have to get pushed out of the way.
It's something.
No, there's a
tide. I feel like there's a tide. There's a different feeling now. Right? There's a different.
And it's not just about this. There's a.
With the West being oh shit, well, we need it. There's now a feeling where they're not so tied to what Israel is doing now.
Well, and I just think in general that and it's only going to increase as environmental catastrophes and everything stacks on top of itself, which is, it's humanity or capitalism, right? I think that that's not such a and that also means humanity or colonialism. I don't think those are marginal ideas at all anymore. I think that the stakes are just going to become more and more obvious to more and more people. That's why socialism has a majority positive view for young people in America, which, trust me, when I was young people in America, that was not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep thinking about Joe Biden's whole we'd have to invent an Israel to project our power quote or whatever it was back, in the 80s. That clip of him was like, Israel's so important that if it did not exist, we'd have to invent it. And then it just kind of comes back to, oh yeah, what's your basic?
They did.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's the thing.
They did invent it. The 94% was like, boom.
I'm just saying it was in the 80s, so it's already around.
It was already invented.
But it was kind of just like, we're doing this. It was kind of a naked mask-off moment where it's just like, yeah, we're doing this so we can project power in that region, and what's in that region? Oil. Yeah. It really does come down to, like, who controls the spice.
Yep.
And what you're able to do to justify having control of it.
And the irony is that it's going to be who controls clean energy that's probably going to control the future if we have one.
Well, the clean energy
and it ain't
thing
going to be the United States.
Well, yeah, it's a technology thing, right? So you give people the technology, and that's that's not necessarily a choke point, but like you produce it where you live. That's the thing about clean energy is there's no value capture for the fuel supplier because there's no
and that's also, I think, one of the inherently revolutionary potentials inside things like renewable energy is that it is distributed. It isn't centralized control. It doesn't require an army to protect a field, to protect the shipping, to take it around the world. And
there's critical minerals and other things that go into it, and that's got geopolitical strategic importance. But it's also
and China's flexing on that a bit with
China has it, but they also don't have oil, and that's kind of one of the reasons why they're doing this is because they just don't have oil.
But also we're going to be those rare earth minerals are going to become less and less critical, and that's a lot of what's happening with battery technology and renewable energy technology is that it's being done with cheaper and less environmentally destructive resources, and that's going to be the trend line. And if energy really becomes ubiquitous, in other words, there's more energy produced than people actually need, you've taken, it's Marx or Engels, I forget which one
that's
said
where
basically.
We're at now. I mean, we have so much energy right now. We're just
but I mean, if it's decentralized and available where you are and it's clean, I forget if it was Marx or Engels, basically saying if we could live on sunshine and air, we wouldn't have class society, right? So ubiquitous energy is actually one component of a world where they lose social control by controlling one of the most critical things about, which is energy.
What you're saying is we need to genetically modify ourselves to be able to photosynthesize.
That would not be a bad move.
I just hang out in the sun all day and just get all the food I need.
Yep.
I am a plant worth knowing.
You know what was really cool about being in the UK? It might just be because I'm from Alberta and I don't see any renewable energy anywhere. I think we have one windmill thing that I've just
one windmill thing.
But in the UK, we fly in. The airport has a huge solar field. Every single farm has its own windmill that it uses for electricity. There's windmills everywhere along the horizon.
I mean, they're still trying to kill it. They're trying to kill it.
Yeah, it's not. I'm sure they're not doing everything they're supposed to. But it was cool to see it.
Yeah,
they are more aligned there, and they did kind of start the Industrial Revolution, so they have some karma offsets to purchase.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
They did colonize much of the world.
Just
they
cool
colonized.
To see it,
What was it? The sun never
They did
sets
ruin
on the British Empire.
most of the earth. Yeah,
they did ruin most of the earth. Yeah,
yeah. They
the Dutch were there too. The Portuguese were also there. But they did kind of like really.
But they do
it.
have windmills.
Yeah.
So pretty.
So
cool.
did the Dutch.
So did the Dutch.
Right.
And they had wooden clogs.
And tulips.
And nice, expensive tulips.
Wonderful.
What else
so
happened?
I've got another topic, which is here in the U.S., Trump, who didn't like the new jobs numbers because, of course, Trump is destroying the American economy with tariffs and mass deportation attempts, and everything he's doing is just
from a degrowth perspective. This is great news.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding. This is not at all. That's not at all how degrowth works.
That's not how degrowth works.
That's not how degrowth works.
No, this is just you put your idiot uncle in charge of the economy, who's just certain that every impulse he has is right and is purchasable by anybody, literally anybody. So he fired when he didn't like he didn't like the jobs numbers because they're bad. He fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McIntarfer, and he's putting in
Big Balls?
new guy. Well, basically, yeah. He's putting a guy named E.J. Antoni, whose Heritage Foundation, which is where Project 2025 came out, which is where all this disastrous plans came from, who was also a January 6ther. He was actually took part in an attempted insurrection, and who's already said that his... he's going to streak. They're going to streak the next time they go by. Okay.
Just little goblin.
Who's also said that that what they might do is just stop reporting the jobs numbers. Like, just came out and said it.
Cool.
I mean, that's good for AI, is what I see, because then people don't react to it as well. It's just like people, oh yeah, we lose a whole bunch of jobs, and so I would say invest in AI if that's what you're going to do.
But this is that's what they're doing. But this is what's interesting, though, is this is idiotic and dangerous, and you need statistics. You need to understand good data to be able to run an economy, a government. But what's interesting is the reaction to this, of course, is much stronger than when they've been doing much more systematically the same thing around climate, right? They're turning off the satellites to collect climate data. They're making it so they're trying to say that CO2 is basically a healthy, good plant food and we should be producing more of it, all of this stuff. And it does show that when this is something that Wall Street depends on, jobs numbers, good job numbers, inflation numbers, all of these things. Inflation numbers are going to be a little bit harder for them to muck with because there's enough third-party data to be able to get fairly accurate
see the
inflation data. Yeah, and they can aggregate it, and but the jobs numbers are real. But it is interesting how much more pushback there's been around that than there has been about the thing that will collapse all of human society. And it just still shows the challenge we have, which is climate data is going to probably be one of the most important pieces of data humanity has. And we're not just erasing it. We're erasing much of the world's ability to gather it. Right. Yeah. So this is also when we talk about what the future holds, one of them is just obfuscating and fictionalizing our way out of unfolding catastrophe and just trying to, I don't know when that runs into the wall where that doesn't work anymore, because if you can blame your climate disaster on undocumented immigrants, that's what's the depth of human foolishness, I guess, is the question on the table.
Pretty deep, apparently.
Yeah, we're able to. I guess they're betting that people are going to be able to just sort of comfort themselves with some sort of reassuring story that it's all fine or whatever, and just say it's not a problem. But yeah, you have to be so deeply propagandized against this. But I mean, interestingly, if you just sort of zoom out at like what the relationship to science was in the United States, it built like the second half of the 20th century was built on science and technology, and like this partnership between enterprise and research, which, you look at like Bell Labs, you look at, DuPont and the petrochemical boom. You have things like all of the PFAS that is now in our blood and in every drop of rain that makes it so that your egg doesn't come off your pan and all their shit. I mean, it's super useful, but it's also never going to break down and genetically interferes or is an endocrine disruptor or whatever it is. Like, all of that was because of this faith in science and technology. But as soon as science and technology were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing all of these destructive economic practices, like, the market turned on it as a thing that, like, well, we don't want to hear from you again. We're going to systematically defund you because you're making it very inconvenient for us to make more money. Maybe that's the boomerang effect as well. I don't know.
Yeah. And just like the carrion stage of capitalism, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, this is all coming to an end. Let us scrape the last flesh off the bones.
It really does feel like everyone is just like putting the silverware in their bags as the party around them burns to the ground and they rush for the exits.
You gotta take what you can, when you can, while you can, and you gotta do it now.
Yeah, Palantir's a pretty great source of modern evil, and they have access to every. Palantir is
They're a military contractor that is
From
run-
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. What a great name. Do you want to explain the reference?
Of Palantir? That's the all-seeing,
That's the eyeball?
not the eye. It's like the thing he uses, right? It's that Saruman the White uses.
The orb thing.
Yeah, I think that, if I remember right, I believe that's what Palantir
You look it up.
is.
I'm just going to give it the quick overview of.
Yeah.
So it's one of the key investors is Peter Thiel.
Peter Thiel, also
Is it
known as
Thiel?
Satan.
Thiel?
No. He
Thiel?
just wouldn't confirm whether or not he was the Antichrist.
Right.
He was on a podcast with Ross Douthat.
Here's the thing. If I was the Antichrist, I wouldn't confirm I was the Antichrist.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I just did keep deflecting. Like,
It was-
Antichrist, me? No,
Yeah.
no. You, maybe. You. Only Antichrist would ask that question.
It is so funny to see, like, he was on that podcast with Ross Douthat like 2 months ago or something like that, and it's so hilarious to see this man who looks like, Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black as like the guy with the bug inside of him who's wearing
Sugar
the skin
water.
suit, who's like, well, I think, and he has billions of dollars, but can't fucking form a sentence because he's actually kind of a dumb motherfucker. And there goes my Palantir score a little bit. Like he's not that smart. He's not that fucking smart. He's just one of those assholes who like read Ayn Rand in high school and was just like, this is my meaning in life now. I'm going to be a selfish asshole forever. And he has this track record of being like, just, having personal vendettas against people, and like taking down companies like Gawker, that sort of a thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was Gawker, that guy.
He
'Cause he funded
the lawsuit
Hulk
Hulk
Hogan.
Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker and everything. So
And
he has long-term planning.
using AI to target entire families in Gaza.
Rich,
of
by the
course.
way. Rest in piss, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, exactly. So so Palantir is another company they're a military contractor and they solve problems for the military. And there's like, they now have access to almost all the data that the military collects, or that all of these other companies collect. Doge, it seems, was the whole point of it was to gather all that information and hand it over to Palantir.
All
That
data
seems to
from
be-
every government agency got scraped,
Yeah.
put onto hard drives, and handed over to Palantir.
which is now creating profiles on every single person and like, trying to figure out who's to be eliminated. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, I was right.
Thank goodness we
Palantir
don't
are
have drone murder swarms. Oh, wait, we do have drone murder swarms, which is another thing that Palantir gleefully brags
Yeah,
about.
but
is there murder
Palantir's
drone
named
swarms.
after Lord of the Rings, and everyone loves Lord of the Rings. But I was right. It
Everyone
was
loves
the
Lord of the Rings.
It's the
it was
orb.
the magical crystal spheres. They're like the seeing stones. They can see vast
that Sauron
distances.
sees through.
Yeah, or no, yeah,
Saruman.
because he looks through it and does.
Oh right, it's not.
Yeah.
He's not right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he has
It's the bad
Yeah,
guy.
but
They're the bad
just,
guys.
he just talks to Sauron, so
Yeah,
So yeah, you're on good footing when that's your reference.
yeah. It's just like that. What's that fucking meme? It's like we invented the torment next, or something.
Yeah, it's the whole don't build. I made this from the book. Don't invent the torment nexus. I invented the torment nexus.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
I think that's a good idea, Alan.
yeah. Okay, so Palantir has a huge database for everyone, all of the citizens, and they're using AI to like categorize.
Well, they
people.
they
That's
they
what's happening.
Doge stole all the because good data practices is you silo private and sensitive information, so only the people who need to use it. So like Social Security Administration keeps theirs, the IRS keeps theirs, the Medicaid keeps theirs. Everybody keeps it separate, and only people who need access to that information should be able to have access in those systems, and they
It's
shouldn't
usually
be
only for a
generalized.
given time. Like
It's only for a given time. All sorts of good practices. What Musk led with Doge was just going in and just literally downloading every piece of data from every government system, putting it onto hard drives, walking out the door with it. And Palantir, because Peter Thiel is not the brightest, but he's the smart brother, not literally.
I mean, he's brazen. He knows.
He's brazen. No, but I mean, compared to Musk, because he's smarter than Musk, because basically he owns Musk, even though Musk is the richest person in the world. So Musk gave Thiel all of all of the data as well as keeping it for himself. I don't know that Musk will even know what to do with it. Peter Thiel does know what to do with it, which is to program targets for murder swarms.
Yeah, so that's what Big Balls did. That was Big Balls. That was part of Big Balls' job, was to just take all this information and just hand it over to Palantir. And so under the guy, that's why it fucking cost money to do Doge. It didn't do any fucking cuts. The cuts were like just like an
meaningless, small amounts. Obviously, the cost of the things they cut are much greater. I mean, they wasted huge amounts of money, let alone the generational loss of millions of lives and fundamental research capabilities and infrastructure, all of that. So yes, it was never, they had some tens of billions of cuts that probably cost more tens of billions of extra labor costs because of all the furloughed people getting paid. And yeah.
So I guess this guy who got punched in the face by carjackers got off easy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is kind of, that's why we keep saying allegedly, because that of all the people to get carjacked by a theoretical group of 15-year-olds potentially
saying this is Kamala Harris country, bitch. Is a thing 15-year-olds say.
Yeah.
What was his car? What was even his car? What's this guy? What's this 19-year-old twerp driving?
So when I was in high school, I ran around with cholos and did gang shit. You know what we never did? We never beat anyone up and said, "This is Al Gore country, motherfucker." This is Al Gore country, SA. We never did that. I don't even think I barely knew who Al Gore was back when I was like.
Although that would be a pretty good way, because no one would believe you did that. So if you did that, it would undermine the story of anybody who would accuse you.
Yeah.
You know, I hung out with some pretty sketchy people too, and we always did stuff to cars. I didn't. Okay, I wasn't part of it. But we never hurt anybody. We just stole pens and stuff.
Stole pens.
Yeah, this is
I
the
forget what it's called.
pen-stealing gang.
It's car something, but you just go around and see if any cars are open, and then you just take stuff. I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was just around the people who did.
What's that pen
Come on,
in your hand?
you spent a week in England. You should be saying, "No, governor."
Yeah, that's right. Great accent. But yeah, interesting. And why was it a group of 15-year-olds?
Because that's what they do. It's so lawless.
Two
there.
suspects, a 15-year-old male and a 15-year-old female, have been arrested and charged with unarmed carjacking. Unarmed.
Okay,
yes.
They messed them up that bad?
If anything, like, this is worse for Big Balls, because it's like, how much of a bitch are you, dude? You let two children carjack you with no weapons. Like, I'd get it if they had hatchets or something, but like, let's assume if there wasn't.
Were
the kids Polynesian? Because that changes the whole.
They can be pretty big.
Because I when I taught high school, or even in high school in Utah, big Polynesian community, so I change it. If they're high school Polynesians, like Samoans, those motherfuckers are huge. They're like 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. So never mind.
I think what one might presume, if there was an actual altercation, that Big Balls was out at 3 a.m. trying to either score drugs and or sex or something.
Where's
illicit,
his dad?
And
where's Big Balls' father?
What was Big Balls said the wrong thing to the wrong people who were just like, who is this motherfucker? And
he happened to be wearing white pants, and I
it's
only wear white
Labor
pants.
Day.
Oh yeah, exactly. Fashion faux pas. It's not actually after Labor Day. Labor Day is later.
We'll post this after Labor Day.
Yeah, he's wearing white pants, and I only wear white pants when I know I'm going to bleed right all over them.
Yeah, exactly. To really accentuate.
I mean, so he may have just gone out and started shit with anybody until somebody beat him up, which shouldn't. I mean, with that face, it shouldn't take that long.
Yeah.
Although Aaron is not in favor of punching Big Balls.
Oh no, you definitely don't want to punch that guy. You don't want to punch Big Balls.
You don't want to punch Big Balls.
I definitely
We've clearly got tiny little testes.
You don't call yourself Big Balls and not have the goods to back it up.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, Big Balls isn't a good thing. Like, Have any of you been kicked in the nuts? It hurts so goddamn bad.
I get kicked in the nuts all the time.
Yeah, Hannah gets it. But like, I've been in
Hannah
fights where
gets
I've
it.
been like kicked in the nuts. It hurt. I wish I didn't have them. It hurts so bad. Having big balls is like the worst trait because like they're just there and they're so sensitive. Like just one hit and they're down.
Tell us how sensitive are your balls, Sam?
Very, because they're balls.
I'm looking at pictures of Big Balls for the first time, and I gotta say, I feel like a really bad person for the way that I feel about him.
Why?
No, you're a good person. This guy is complicit.
I want
this guy is
to hurt
complicit
him.
in. This guy is complicit in millions of deaths upcoming for generations. Entire
even if he
communities
wasn't,
around
just
the world.
looking at him.
Well,
He's
no, but
such
you
a
can see.
Not a fan.
You're gonna look at this man, this young man, and his sweet punum, and tell me that you can stay angry at that.
Oh my God! Yeah, no, I mean, even if he wasn't complicit in mass murder, which he is explicitly, he's a mass murderer, not ambiguous. He's complicit and part of mass murder globally. Even without that, yes, one might want to punch him repeatedly in the face, but I think one can do so with zero guilt. One can just relish and wallow in the feelings of wanting to punch this motherfucker.
I really
Well, good for those 15-year-olds. That's what I'm saying.
Good for them. They need they need the Medal of Honor.
I'd say.
I think Big Balls should get the Medal of Freedom, just so it can like sully the name of the whole thing, and I think it will start
And invalidate every
Yeah, I
other
think it's
one.
just like, oh yeah, anyone who got that is just like, this is your country. This is
so
the
it's
lie
like-
that you have given your life for. Do something about it, maybe. Do something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It doesn't look like the
else?
suspects are. Doesn't look like the suspects are Samoan. Just in case you were wondering.
Ah. All right. Well, because that, like I said, that would make sense. They're like 15-year-old like Polynesian kids are like my size, and I'm like 6 foot, like 300 pounds. Like they're huge and they're awesome. I love the Polynesians. They're my favorite people in the whole world.
Word.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Cool.
Okay, well,
hopefully
Anything
Palantir
else?
won't drone strike us next time. We can. We'll have another podcast for you.
You're not taken over yet. Canada's still a relatively
just be
separate
you.
country.
If
You
they
be you
wanted
and
to
Hannah.
drone strike me, they could. It's not. There's
Well,
nothing
fuck.
stopping them.
I'm
Oh, wait,
already
no,
in
Hannah's
America.
in shit. It's
Yeah, you're in the United
Hannah's in
States.
Jersey.
Oh,
Shit.
damn it.
Thank you for listening to Doom Scroll Patrol. Like, comment, and subscribe to Undeniable Network for more content and to support our work.